The 6th Nigeria's Construction Industry Hall of Fame, held on October 2nd, 2021 at Sheraton Hotel, Ikeja, Lagos, had the presence of notable personalities and professionals in the construction and engineering industry, as well as professionals in the allied product manufacturing sector and inductees for this year's event, being the 6th edition of the biennial event that started in 2011. According to the organizers, the event is meant to recognize outstanding professionals and corporate organizations that have contributed to the rich infrastructure history of the country despite the challenges of the times.
Today, we are just celebrating the Nigeria's Construction Industry Hall of Fame, which started in 2011. Actually, we were called upon in 2010 by the then Vice President, Nigerian, to create something that would be a bit unique, not an annual thing, but something that would happen every 2 years that would bring professionals together to deliberate and discuss issues that are relevant to the industry, and also to give the highest honor that we may call Hall of Fame. And we sat down in a small little room and came up with this plan, and was launched in Abuja in 2011. And what he charged us to do, architect Nigerian at that time, was that we should not relent. No matter what happens, we should ensure that it's not the number, but the quality of the event and the personalities involved. And over time, we do not do nominations ourselves. We get nominations and check through the records to know the deserving personalities for the Nigeria's construction industry. First of all, we must have been around for more than 25 years practicing. So it's not just for the outcomes, it's something that we must celebrate those deserving personalities. That's what this platform is all about.
Nigeria's Construction Industry Hall of Fame, an initiative of Construction Industry Hall of Fame Development Foundation, and hosted by Century 21 Systems Limited, and is being powered by Construction and Engineering Digest Magazine (CED), the pioneer built environment professional publication in Nigeria since 1992. The guest of honor, Engineer Sulaiman H. Adamu, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Engineering, was represented by the General Manager of Osun River Basin Development Authority, Mr. Olufemi Otumosu.
We are proud to be part of this event, most especially that water is one of the infrastructure development, more or less, you know. And you find that most of the projects in water resources are basically construction, you know, like when you look at overall water sectors infrastructure development, guided by 3 pillars. That is the National Water Resources Master Plan, the immediate and long-term strategies for water sector, which is known as the Water Sector Roadmap, and of course the SDG. And you find that most of our projects on irrigation and drainage, dams and reservoir, water supply, are all infrastructurally based. And you find that the policy initiatives so that we follow a defined path towards achieving the SDGs targets, which is to ensure that all inhabitants have access to potable water supply and adequate sanitation, you know. And the water sector roadmap has been strategically developed to guide towards fulfillment of the ministry's mandate, mission, and vision. And at the end of the day, we always want to identify with the construction industry, that we always ensure that we have ministerial deliverables which more or less have been assigned to us by Mr. President. And most of these are on completion of all priority ongoing dams and irrigation projects, basic implementation of water, sanitation and hygiene wash programs projects, finalization and implementation of the flood management plan for Middle River system. As well, we are in the rainy season and there's been a lot of floods issues all over the country, because of action that was made by NIMET, and of course the Nigerian Hydrological Service Agency, which is another agency under the ministry. Now we provide support in the implementation of water management and water settlement projects in Nigeria, and then active collaboration with private sector to create a large number of well-paying jobs for Nigerian youths, and then implementation of strategies towards realization of Mr. President's June 12 promise to take 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years. So on this note, I want to express our goodwill to the construction industry, all of them, and thank every one of us here. Thank you very much.
Present at the event that was well attended by professionals and business moguls was the Executive Governor of Lagos State, ably represented by the Special Advisor to the Lagos State Governor of Works and Infrastructure, Engineer Mrs. Aramide Adeyoyi, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. The keynote speaker, Executive Vice Chairman and Vice President, World Federation of Engineering Organization WAFIO, Engineer Mustapha M.B. Shehu, was also present. Other notable dignitaries at the event includes Ms. Doris Umbadiwe, Deputy Managing Director, Interbao Construction Nigeria Limited. Quantity Surveyor Mohammed Abator, Fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyor and President of the Institute, represented by the Deputy President of the Institute, QS Shomobi Olayemi, and Engineer Professor Samson Duna, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Director General, Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute, who was also represented by Engineer Dr. Friday Akwi. Other dignitaries also include Estate Surveyor Emmanuel Okaswike, President of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, amongst others. In view of the various discussions and comments at the event from different professionals in the industry, the guest speaker, Engineer M.B. Shehu, Vice President of World Federation of Engineering Organization, was also the keynote speaker, harps on the need and the importance of the time of this day, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic, which has exposed Nigeria's inadequacies in human capacity projects such as developing our own content in terms of making use of what we have to build our own economy.
COVID-19 needs no introduction, and its direct and indirect impact on personal and professional life have been severe and far-reaching. I will focus on how COVID-19 has impacted on the construction community and what can be done to ensure continued growth in the sector. Even before COVID-19, performance of the construction sector has been subpar compared to other industries. Stagnant productivity, low levels of digitization, and low profitability have plagued the industry for years. COVID-19 has had and is a massive impact on the construction project, with implications varying from country to country and contract to contract. On the contractual side, much focus will now have to be given on the wording of the standard forms were used, such as the FIDIC or NEC. At this stage, COVID-19 is not, broadly speaking, rendering projects altogether impossible to complete, but it is slowing them down because there is delay and disruption, either because of supply chain has been severely disrupted or funding has been affected. Some projects have even stopped, usually with intention to resume work at later dates. Now, impact of uncertainty. Construction is typically much more volatile than the overall economy, and reduced economic activities result in less demand for new commercial and industrial facilities. And ambiguity further investment also represents a shock to supply. Some building materials supply chains have also been interrupted, suspending production and distribution. And that is, of course, very obvious because there has been remarkable reduction in mobility between one country to another, and also there has been remarkable reduction in manufacturing activities in almost all over the world. On the upside, unprecedented relief packages will not only support a rapid recovery but also be followed by public investment programs. Additionally, a combination of increasingly stringent sustainability requirements, rising cost pressure, skilled labor scarcity, and new available materials, production approaches, and digital tools have forced the construction industry to innovate in many areas prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, how do we turn adversity into opportunity? We expect trends to accelerate, creating opportunities for business and professional practice as they adapt to new realities occasioned by the pandemic. This includes some long-term and short-term measures. For the short-term measures, we have to look at increased digitization. Of course, the pandemic has made us to come to the realization that we really don't need to be at any place physically before we can have a meeting. Today we are having a meeting here and many people are joining the meeting online. So these are some of the challenges the engineers have been able to overcome due to the pandemic. For instance, designers also and engineers are relying more heavily on digital collaboration tools like building information modeling. Rebalance supply chains towards resilience versus efficiency. Contractors can build inventory, securing critical materials and long lead items, and identifying alternative supplies. For long term, we have to consider augmented consolidation, in which players can look to consolidate to establish economies of scale and support investments in IT, talent, research and development, and technology. We also have to look at vertical integration, where industry players are already starting to vertically integrate to increase efficiency and as a route to standardization and control of design and execution. In a post-crisis world, vertical integration, which may include a return to greater reliance on local production of materials and direct labor, is a potential route to greater resilience. Another long-term measure is for further investment in technology, organizations, and innovation of building systems to guard against further restrictions in movement, against for digital tools that are proven to increase productivity, such as 4D simulation, digital workflow management, real progress tracking, and advanced scheduling optimization. We have to look at these policies and get them right and also make sure that we implement them. So the pandemic has exposed our inadequacy that there could be a time when those people you are relying upon cannot even come to your country. Those materials you are importing, you cannot more import those materials. So what happens? Well, we have to live, we have to exist, we have to grow. So the pandemic has exposed this reality to us head on. So we have to look inwards into developing our own expertise, developing our manufacturing sector, so that we can develop, we can manufacture all what we need as a nation. So, in conclusion, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the pandemic has posed a lot of challenges in terms of reduced movement, especially international travels of persons, goods, and services. As engineers, we have to turn these adversities to opportunities by looking inwards towards meeting our materials and services needs locally in the construction sector. With this, I want to say thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak, and thank you very much for listening.
In the same vein, the president of the Nigerian Academy of Engineering, NAE, Engineers Ally Sugedegbe, while speaking against the backdrop of the theme of the event, stressed that Nigeria should export less petroleum and use the mainstream sector to build gas pipeline and refineries in order to be self-sufficient and improve the nation's economy.
We are approaching a very serious position in the world, the entire world. The Paris Agreement, signed by over 200 countries, talks about climate change. And we know in the last 150 years, especially, the fossil fuel has provided more than 80% of all power everywhere. Now we are told that we need to keep the temperature of the climate, first of all, at 2 degrees. Right now it's heading for more than 2 degrees increase per year. We know we need to reduce it at the constant rate of 1.5 degrees centigrade for humanity to continue to exist the way we know it. Nigeria is not an exception. Nigeria is a member, a signatory to the Paris Accord. And that means we must do what others are doing. We must fall in line. All companies in the major ones have come together into what they call the Oil and Gas Climate Initiative, OGCI. This climate initiative group consists of all of them: ExxonMobil, Shell, Chevron, ENI, BP, all the oil companies are there. And they have formed a group which wants to try and reduce the amount of carbon dioxide and methane that are over the atmosphere, preventing us or making the atmosphere less and less habitable for us. So Nigeria, unfortunately, fortunately, you can put it in, just signed the Petroleum Industry Act. I have observed, I haven't been in the industry myself for more than 50 years, that this act is very, very silent in the policy of transition from the fossil fuel to more renewable aspects.
When I first joined the industry, oil and gas was 25% of the GDP. Today it's only 90%, but it's still, over 50 years, still controlling 90% of the foreign exchange. Can you imagine the effect of that? And still government is having 60% of total earnings. So we must then guard this resource, called petroleum, in the way that as we drive away from it for our energy, we also use it to develop our country. This is where I want to say we should export less petroleum, use the midstream sector to build gas pipelines, refineries, so that we can be self-sufficient.
Delivering the governor's address, the special advisor to the governor on works and infrastructure, Engineer Mrs. Aramide Adeyoye, fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, took time to highlight the challenges the state faced during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic and some of the strategies adopted to curtail the pandemic. According to her, the unexpected emergence of the coronavirus in Lagos on Thursday, February 27, 2020, as a 44-year-old Italian man was quarantined after being identified and certified positive which unfolded a lot of activities in the health sector at the federal and state levels and necessitated a public briefing by the Lagos State government and other measures to curtail the pandemic.
It's a pleasure for me to be part of this year's forum, an induction ceremony into Nigeria's construction industry Hall of Fame, a forum that has become a platform for professionals in building and construction industry to brainstorm on issues that are essential and relevant to the growth of the industry and nation. The theme of this year's gathering, change the dynamics of professional and business practice in the construction industry, lessons from COVID-19 pandemic. It's germane to the states in the degree and sustenance of infrastructure projects that will enhance our programs and plans of improving the lives and welfare of Lagosians. Just as Charles Darwin wrote that some of the strongest of the species that survives, now the most intelligent that survives, it's the ones that are most adaptable to change. This is essentially true of the coronavirus pandemic, where only those who were able to adapt quickly to the new normal and embrace the protocols survived. We're happy and lucky that as a state, we indeed survived this, the first wave, the second wave, and the third wave. We actually survived COVID-19 pandemic, but it's the grace of God. At the onset of this administration, by the mission to ourselves the facilitation of world-class infrastructure that would serve as a critical government driver, reflect on economic growth and increase our gross domestic product, we were determined to use the platform of our 6 pillar things agenda to focus on the completion of all ongoing projects, even as we embark upon new ones. If indeed our dream of becoming Africa's modern mega city and a global economic and financial hub is to come true. This was our plans, but was however altered with the advent of the corona pandemic. The unexpected emergence of the coronavirus in Lagos on Thursday, February 27, 2020, unfolded a lot of activities in the health sector. They actually brought a lot of things to the fore. At the federal and state levels, and necessary public briefing to enlighten residents of measures put in place to address the situation. As a government, we embarked upon various activities since the identification and quarantine of the 44-year-old Italian man who was certified positive. Included credible briefings, assertions, and endorsements of the existence of the virus alongside other many sustained efforts to increase the consciousness of the citizenry. Plus, the pandemic struck at the time of administration when we had just commenced the addition works on strategic roads such as the Washekumade Road in Ikorodu, the Agricultural Road, Bola Ahmed Igboho Tinubu Road, and Ijede Road, and the iconic Pensima Plaza. So also for contracts along Akoka, St. Peter's Road, Showroom, when the contractors had just moved to site. We had also embarked upon an urbanization initiative in the whole of Ikeja, Victoria Land, Ikoyi areas, and all of this was at the height of the pandemic. The COVID-19 crisis has, of course, prompted us as a government to step up responses, policy responses. With an ever-increasing population of over 22 million inhabitants, about 5 million cars, and 200,000 commercial vehicles daily, on a land mass of just about 3,577 square kilometers, with about 227 kilometer vehicles per kilometer on our 600 roads network, we could not completely afford to stop working. Rather than stop work, we adopted a new work order and innovative COVID protocols that emphasize less work done and more automation. Traditional workplace and practices was worsened by the COVID-19 pandemic. We made unprecedented decisions to promote public health and safety through the enforcement of stay-at-home rules and emphasize the need to maintain and keep social distancing as well as other rules. But in all of this, what we began to do, and I would say this in his words, we are as a state, and as a country, we are the first state in the country and even in the world that will do the executive cabinet meeting very soon. COVID in its own could not bring anything back. What it does was it activated that process. So we had our first cabinet meeting on March 2nd. The COVID 27th of February was when the first instance of the case happened. And the 2nd of March, we had our first meeting via Zoom. So we did not stop the business of running the state because there was COVID pandemic. And I think that's what was it speaks to our residents and our ability to be able to take the bulls by the horn, given the things that we have found ourselves on. Indeed, COVID-19 has proven that adaptivity is a key element for operational function and survival. An essential skill for workers in the construction industry, with the ability to view change not as a challenge, but as an opportunity to grow and innovate. It's either we innovate or we die. In Lagos State, we realized the need to give special support to businesses in the form of reliefs and encourage their contractors to adopt a freestyle approach to project timelines. We also encourage employees at all levels to quickly pivot and try new approaches to performing their jobs, collaborating and accomplishing tasks. Digital workforce solutions also help companies automate administrative functions. As desk workers move to remote locations and mobile workers remain dispersed, cloud-based networks were used to support frictionless workflows. Chat boxes and groups were created to distribute information and push notifications. Shift alerts on networks, while other internal communication tools were used to create seamless workflows and support business continuity. Ladies and gentlemen, while using this opportunity to inform you that COVID-19 is not yet over, I implore and charge players in the construction industry to upgrade their adaptability to the new normal. I would also like to commend and appreciate the foundation for considering me worthy of being inducted into the Nigerian Construction Industry Hall of Fame. This induction will continue to be a symbol of encouragement to the state to raise the standard of trade and promotion of construction in Lagos State. I'm honored to join the Construction Industry Hall of Fame Development Foundation and all its stakeholders at the Construction Technology Development Forum, and I wish you all happy celebrations. Thank you.
Ms. Doris Mbadiwe, Deputy Managing Director, Interbal Construction Nigeria Limited, in her comments, emphasized on the need to encourage the feminine gender in the construction industry by advocating for women to be given the flexible working hours in order to attend to their homes front and not to neglect their family values and obligations. She stressed on the importance of girl-child education to ensure that a pool of resources for the construction industry is available at all times.
Interbal has a foundation. We established a foundation, and one of the courses and skills that we train women on is self-defense, and that is just basically taking the concerns into practical solutions. Now we have conditions of service that we see unfair times, long working hours. In the construction industry, Saturdays is a working day. So this may get in the way of family obligations as far as women are concerned. We have nature of the job. Construction work, especially for the artisans, are seen as very tasking. But then again, which career is not tasking? Now, the way forward that I see is just basically promoting, promoting the opportunities, the awareness campaigns, and the opportunities for women in the industry. And by this, the foundation has taken it upon itself to run awareness campaigns all over Lagos and Nigeria. The foundation has also planned a first ever Tradeswomen Career Fair Day taking place on the 23rd of October. We hope to bring employers of labor in the construction industry, construction companies, and real estate companies, and also skilled female artisans under one platform, and hopefully make a job match. We also hope to expose secondary school female students to the opportunities in the sector. We also encourage the few women who are in the industry to mentor young and upcoming and interested youths that are females. We also appeal to organizations to implement and enforce policies that allow for a balance in inclusivity whereby both males and females can play similar roles. We also urge organizations to discourage discriminatory practices. So in the construction industry, I would like to say that there are over 150 career opportunities. There's something for every woman in the industry. And with the massive demand for more infrastructure by public and private sector, more housing, railway lines, roads, highways, maintenance, upgrade works, coupled with the aging workforce, we encourage more women to bridge the gap and act as a solution to these.
This year's edition of the Nigerian Construction Industry Hall of Fame, being the 6th in the series, witnessed 13 inductees, which comprise of 11 built environment professionals and 2 corporate inductees. Among the inductees include His Excellency Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Executive Governor, Lagos State; Engineer Professor Sam Tuna, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers and the Director General, Engineer Mrs. Aramide Adeyoye, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Civil Engineers, and Fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Building, and essay to Lagos State Governor on Works and Infrastructure. Engineer Suleiman H. Adamu, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Engineering, and Honorable Minister of Water Resources. Engineer Mustafa B. Shehu, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, and Fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Engineering, and Executive President of World Federation of Engineering Organization. Engineer Dr. Samuel K. Ilobokai, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Engineer Chief Olutola Uyiro, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers and Member Institute of Directors. Engineer Dr. Alex Ogedegbe, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers and Fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Engineering and President of the Nigerian Academy of Engineering. Estate Surveyor Chief Emmanuel Okas Wike, Fellow of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers and President, Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. QS Mohammed Abator, Fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, President of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors. Builder Kunle Awobodu, Fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Building and past President of the Institute. The corporate INDUCTEES are Kenol Nigeria Limited, represented by the Managing Director and Chief Executive, Mr. Engineer Okunduyile, and Interbao Construction Nigeria Limited, and also represented by Ms. Doris Badiwe. Then came the Construction Industry Technology Development Forum session, a made-for-television session with discussant from the professionals in attendance, including the speakers.
The first speaker is Doris Badiwe, to speak through to what she meant by her presentation and especially a little more from 2 minutes.
I spoke to women in construction, the challenges and opportunities, and how the importance of promoting gender diversity in the sector. Primarily the fact that, of having women and men work side by side from the planning stage of construction delivery to completion, and how diversity leads to increased productivity and better decision making. So I spoke to the challenges, I spoke to the opportunities. Basically, that every opportunity that is open to the men is open to women as well, and that women should harness those opportunities because the industry is very vast. So there's something to do for every woman, regardless of their educational pathways or skills. Thank you.
Let's have the guest speaker. I'm sure while speaking, so many things and thoughts may have come, and sharing your experiences over time with some countries in the world, especially with the view to the fact that I know MBS is an organization that has played in various countries of the world in terms of South Africa to South North America to South America, and the experiences in terms of what we do here in comparison to what's happening all over the world, something we can take home, and even from your own presentation, and looking at the issue of the pandemic and what it has brought to us.
Thank you very much, the organizers of this program. Basically, what my paper was on is the transformation in the construction industry and how it affects Nigeria and how the pandemic has affected us as a nation and as professionals. And also the need to have a very deliberate policy that is implementable to make sure that the Nigerian professionals are really getting involved, in all projects. When I say all projects, I mean all projects, no matter the complexity. Then, depending on the complexity, the degree of involvement can vary, from low to high and to 100% if the degree of complexity is very low. And this is actually what is happening in a lot of countries that we see with envy, we see with admiration. I mean, people don't just come into a country and take everything in a project, while the capacities of the citizens is not being, is not being upskilled. And for any country to develop, actually, we have no option but to make sure that our own citizens are developed.
The special advisor to the governor of Lagos State.
Thank you. When we came in 2019, everybody knew exactly the state we do well. It was what we did. We declared a state of emergency, but in doing that, we realized we needed to be able to move fast to stem the tide. What exactly did we do? It was simple. Get the Public Works Corporation together with 8 multinationals, address and stem the tide. But going forward, what exactly? So we have a zero tolerance for pothole with the Public Works. They work day and night on the roads to be able to address jet patches. That was also the period where people said, oh, cold patch, can they not use cold patch? Why is it so difficult to use, to do asphalt even in the rains? And one of the things that we said, and I did to advise, was to say, yes, cold patch is possible, but at what cost will it be? Because most of the cold patch that you were getting was something that was packaged as a packaged product, the emulsifier and then the aggregates shipped in, and then people wanted it to do. The cost per square meter of actually using that cold patch is about 4.5 times the cost of your normal hot rolled asphalt. It was not sustainable. So what did we do? Got the Public Works Corporation to be able to walk around their plants and actually produce cold patch here. Their R&D, with R&D, do cold patch asphalt, and if you go even into Alausa at the Elibero, you would see that cold patch there. 1.5 years after, still good, going strong. So in the event that we need to be able to use cold patch, we do not need to import aggregates, because what essentially is a cold patch? It's the normal aggregates that you have here in this particular gradation with the emulsifiers and all of the required bituminous products, all produced together to form a cold patch packed in containers and then just shipped them. So we have actually produced that here. And that, for me, it's part of the R&D that we must continue to go forward and sustain. That's on the public works side.
But I want to come to the president of the academy. The reason is that, I believe that what your experience with the Port Harcourt refinery, and you must have followed the whole process up till this moment that you're figuring maybe, we want to know what went wrong. Why did we go wrong in the first instance?
Thank you very much. As I listened to the senior advisor on infrastructure from Lagos State, I began to feel that I needed to make a comment on the infrastructure, especially with the upcoming Dangote refinery. You raised the question also about how that refinery will be evacuated. Let me quickly take you to a very current situation in the UK. Everybody who watches the television will see the long lines of cars and trucks trying to collect petrol from the petrol stations in London. We should not make the same mistakes here. Why? The government, the UK government says there's plenty of products in the refineries and the depots, but they cannot get there without truck drivers. Let us not make the same mistake here to depend on truck drivers to take the products to Lagos. It will be a disaster. I say it with all intensity. I have said this over the last 3-4 years. I am associated with a company that did a feasibility study for Dangote to evacuate that refinery by pipeline. Don't ask me what happened. And I am not blaming Dangote. The Lagos state government, you see, are reacting to what they know could be a problem. That is why engineers have designed pipelines to evacuate that kind of site. That refinery will not produce less. Let me go back. Port Harcourt refinery. We designed Port Harcourt refinery in 1984, 85 to evacuate 70% of the products by sea. In other words, from the jetty, it goes to another jetty, it takes the products to another jetty in Lagos for discharge, not by land. We designed 20% of that refinery output to go by pipeline from the refinery to the east and to the west.
I'm going to go to quantity surveyor. Okay, Olayemi Shonubi. Should compromise cost over standard? I know you're a construction economist.
I do not believe so. And that's why you have this new area, which we call value engineering and value management. The whole idea is to get the appropriate value, what we call MFM, value for money. And in order to get value for money does not necessarily mean you are going to compromise standards. People suggested gold patch. And then they realized that doing gold patch will cost 4 times what it will have cost them to use the normal hot road asphalt. And here and below, they have an R&D department in the public works department, and they were able to come up with homegrown, homemade gold patch, which was cheaper. That is still part of the value engineering. Does not mean they are compromised standard. All you have been able to do was to make sure that Lagos State was able to get value for every penny that was spent. And I think I must commend both the ministry as well as the public works for that.
Actually, in the Ministry of Works and Housing, we have the Department of Engineering, where you have all the engineers, then we have the lands department. The surveyor and valuer is not placed on the same level with the engineers. When you enter as an estate surveyor and valuer, they place you on the bonnet and not too conversant with the civil service nomenclature. So please forgive me if I make a mistake. But for the estate surveyor and valuer, is given a lower place. So when there is promotion, you find out that you have other professionals who are almost ahead of the estate surveyor and valuer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
The event also witnessed the cutting of the cake to mark Nigeria's 61st Independence Day anniversary celebration.
N-I-G-E-R-I-A.
Thank you very, very much. And since the first anniversary of the Nigerian independence, as we go back to our table, we will serve the lunch is served, and then we will just serve the wine. The induction is taking place now. So, on behalf of the Nigerian Construction Industry Foundation, I would like to present this to the Lagos State Governor. Congratulations. That is the working governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the performing governor. A couple of the Honorable Minister for Water Resources will be decorated by the special guest is still standing with them. The Honorable Minister will be decorated. The Honorable Minister for Water Resources, Engineer Sulaiman Adamu, and we truly appreciate the Minister. Engineer Balarabe Mustafashi, who is the Managing Director, Founding Managing Director, MBS Engineering. Congratulations. Congratulations. We are now going to present and induct into the Nigeria's Construction Industry Hall of Fame the People's Engineer Alex Ogedegbe, the President of the Nigerian Academy of Engineering. He will be presented with this particular award and decorated by the representative of the Executive Governor of Lagos State to decorate and induct into the Nigeria's Construction Industry Hall of Fame, Engineer Alex Ogedegbe. And it is my honor and privilege that this is happening today. Now, if you are a friend of the house, you can also come forward to have a photograph with Engineer Ogedegbe, Madam. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate you, sir. Engineer will be decorated by the President of the Academy. He will be decorated by the President of the Academy. Congratulations, Engineer Deoye. Congratulations, you're welcome to the class of Hall of Fame inductee. I would like to invite the representative of the Honorable Minister to come forward and do some of the induction and decoration of some of the inductees for today. He's representing Engineer Suleiman Adamu, a former president of ACEN, a former member of the council of the CORE, the managing director of Firstly, to be decorated, managing director of Firstly, and Otuba of Idiland, a performing personality and engineer of repute. Being inducted is to be inducted into the Nigeria's Construction Industry Hall of Fame. Let me still ask the representative or the Honorable Ministers is standing. I'm so sorry, but this is the work that the Minister is expected to do, so you are under authority. So may I invite Engineer Ilobukai to be decorated and inducted formally into the Nigeria's Construction Industry Hall of Fame. Engineer S.K. Ilobukai, and possibly Act of the Parliament of Structural Engineering Practice in Nigeria, so that building collapse will cease. So some of these conversations are taken with a bit of short, but it's important that we should understand that these comments are key. So the family members, friends, wife, you can join for this particular decoration or photograph. Make sure you get your congratulations, Engineer Ilobukai. May I invite the Talk and Do President. Talk and Do President. Those things we call our governor Talk and Do Governor. But this is Talk and Do Governor of the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors. For his name. Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. You are my friend. Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. One of your colleagues 2 years ago, estate surveyor, Odia Dedeji, was inducted and was part of the discussion here. And many others. You can join for the photograph. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. The man that speaks collaboration, collaboration. And that's the way forward, and that's the way to do it. May I invite the representative of the Director General and Chief Executive of NIBRI, Nigerian Institute of Road Research, Building and Road Research, Engineer Professor Samson Tuna, the representative of Engineer Samson Tuna, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of NIBRI, we call it NIBRI, Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute. He's been represented here at this event, and he has been online watching the proceedings since morning. Thank you very much. You can join, friends. This is for the NIBRI CEO. May I invite the representative of QS Abator. QS Abator, the deputy president is here. QS Olayemi Shonubi to receive and be decorated on behalf of Thank you very much. Congratulations. Congratulations. May I have the privilege and honor of inviting the guest speaker to just come and do this presentation along with the chief host, the representative of the chief host, Governor of Lagos State. And I'm going to invite to the podium. These are two corporate organizations that are your partners in the development of this state and the country. May I invite this Doris Mbadiwe. So, you're decorating while the special advisor will hand over some other things. Just decorate the okay. Then while Madam will now give the other certificates and thank you very much. Thank you very much. Congratulations. You can join. You can join for this photograph. You can join interval for the photograph. Well, decoration for if you can just wait, guest speaker, please. Just one more corporate. These are your partners. These are your partners. The managing director of Kenol, Engineer Ugodi. When I talked earlier about the fact that this particular organization is building capacity, and I think it's the only indigenous company now that is doing transformer, manufacturing transformer, gone from consulting to manufacturing, construction to manufacturing. Manufacturing. So, congratulations. Actually, about I think 4 years ago, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Today, the company is being inducted from the corporate perspective. So, I'd like to invite friends, Academy President, to join. Congratulations. Congratulations. The Managing Director of Kenol, Nigeria Limited, Engineer Lu Uduile. The company is the one being decorated. The managing director himself was decorated, was inducted 4 years ago. So I think it's just right that after about 30 years of practice, and after about 30 years of the existence of Kenol, it deserves to be inducted into the Nigeria's Construction Industry Hall of Fame from the corporate perspective. Congratulations. Congratulations. That way be all. Thank you very much. Can we give ourselves a round of applause? And all the inducted to come. Okay, can I invite Engineer Ogudiyele to come forward so that he can present to your junior brother, Builder Awobodu. He was here earlier, but he had to leave. Builder Awobodu is the immediate past president of the Nigerian Institute of Building. As a matter of fact, my daughter will soon become a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Building. So she is the current secretary for Lagos State. And the decoration is being done by Engineer Ogudiyele on behalf and received on behalf of the company. Thank you very, very much. Can we all, the inductees, come forward for a good photograph with your, so that we can just get this over with. You may want to carry the plaque. Carry the plaque. Okay, here you have it. Can we give them a very big round of applause so they can put a smile and a standing ovation, please? Can we be upstanding to actually recognize and truly applaud these personalities and the corporate organization for this very important decoration and induction into the Nigeria's Construction Industry Hall of Fame. We are truly proud of these personalities, and they will continue to share ideas and responses and information with the foundation. And the foundation is the Nigeria's Construction Industry Hall of Fame Development Foundation. And it's actually the platform that is being promoted by Construction and Engineering Digest magazine, CED, and being sponsored by Century 21 Systems Limited.
The event was rounded off with a response from the inductees.
On behalf of all of the inductees, I want to say a very big thank you to the organizers for deeming us fit in inducting us into this Hall of Fame today. I want to believe that this award, of course, will spur us to greater heights. It's not the limit. It will actually inspire us to do greater things for the industry. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Can we just be upstanding so that we can just toast to Nigeria? And then the toast will be performed by the president of the academy.
3 hearty cheers to the Construction Industry Hall of Fame. Hip, hip, hip. Hooray! Hip, hip, hip. Hooray! 3 hearty cheers to the Lagos State Governor and government. Hip, hip, hip. Hooray!